from our toes to our arches, recognizing any pain, sensation, or even good feels. And then moving from our arch to our heel. And from our heel to our ankle. And from the ankles of both of our feet to the entire foot. The right foot, the left foot. Recognizing and being aware of any sensation that we might feel in our feet. And moving from the feet to our calves. The left calf, the right calf. Becoming aware of any sensation. Acknowledge them. And understand that it's okay to feel them. This is your body communicating with you. Moving from our calves to our knees. Bringing awareness to the front of our knees, the back. How are they feeling today? What sensations am I picking up? And just acknowledging those sensations. And moving from your knees to your thighs. How do my thighs feel today? Am I feeling tightness? Or are they feeling really nice and strong? Both feelings are absolutely acceptable. And moving from those thighs to our hips. Left side of our hip. Right side of our hip. Are we feeling any discomfort? Or are we feeling absolutely fine? Moving to our belly. And the belly, just feeling our breath. As we inhale, we feel the rising. And as we exhale, we feel the navel point move through the back of the spine. How does our belly feel? Our digestive system, our small intestine, our big intestine. Bringing awareness to that. What feeling do I have? Content, hungry, and just bring awareness to that feeling. And then moving to your chest. Bring awareness as your chest lifts when you inhale, and do you feel your breath moving through your chest? Or does it feel a little tight? Acknowledge that. Move up to your throat. Do I feel a little tightness or soreness? Or does it feel absolutely fine? And focus on that, the feel goods, just as well as the signals that your body sends you. And take your focus to your jawline. Maybe open your jaw a little bit, move it from the left to the right, releasing any tension. And from your jawline, feel a softness moving through that forehead. And if you feel like you're squinching your eyes, or your forehead. Try to release it on that next exhale. And just see if you feel any signal or any sensation that is held in that area. Moving from the forehead through the crown to the back of your neck. What are you holding here? How tight are your shoulders, or how loose do they feel today? And if you feel like you're holding any weight on those shoulders, try to release that weight on that next exhale. And then scan your body as a whole. Wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes. If you have your eyes closed, maybe blink them a couple of times. And then slowly open your eyes. Reach up towards the sky with your arms. And just stretch right and left. Wiggle your toes one more time. Maybe point and flex those feet. Check on your shoulders. And then bring your hands back down. Let's roll those shoulders a couple of times. And just filling your focus, moving from that surrounding of your room to our little classroom, our meeting room right here. Yeah. So just really having that awareness, how your body feels, but trying not to get stuck and caught on that one body part that might feel a little different than the other, okay? So a lot of times when you do this body scan, this little meditation, just bringing focus and awareness to that one spot, and then try from there to move on to the next body part or the next spot. Sometimes when we focus on one pain that is entering our body, but we get so consumed by it, we are not listening to anything else that's going on in our body. So take this little meditation, and it just took us maybe 10 minutes to do maybe a daily body scan check, yeah? So right now, what I would like to do, I would like for each of you to take a piece of paper and a pen, of course, with that piece of paper. And then I want you to write on this piece of paper 40 things that you are grateful for. Okay, 40 things. The first things that come to your mind, and we will have 5 minutes for that. Okay, so at 1:22, we will all put our pens down, and we will talk about this a little bit before we get into that mindfulness and pain, okay? So go ahead and start writing 40 things that you are grateful for. All right, so let's put our pens down. And this will be a little bit of an interactive part. So I have Jennifer right next to me on my screen. So I will just, talk to each of you and kind of call you out a little, not call you out, that sounds so, but Jennifer, why don't you share with us the first 10 things, and nobody changes what they put first, okay? The first 10 things that you are grateful for.
I put my husband, my mom and dad, that's two and three, my job, my health, my home, and then I put my 3 children, and then I put my dog.
So your health was which number?
5.
5, okay. I was going for the top 5, but then I said, let's be gentle and let's do it in the top 10. So I'm very happy that you did mention your health in the first top 10. Did you make it all the way to 40?
I didn't even make it to 20.
To 20, okay. So how was it a little bit difficult for you?
It was, not that I'm not grateful for things, but I don't know. It was difficult.
Okay, so let's, and you know, you're the first one, so everyone else will kind of just, what we talk about now will work for everyone. But let's think of health, right? Let's think of body. So when we are grateful for things, right? Think of your body. How many times would we mention in those 40 things? I'm grateful for my fingers. I'm grateful for my hand. I'm grateful for my eyes. I'm grateful for my neck, my
We've lost sound.
we list gratitude. Can you all hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Yeah, there was a part there, maybe about the last minute that you were speaking that we couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about the gratefulness that you have for yourself and your body. Normally, it takes us a while to list that. We are rather see things that we're grateful for that are outside of our body, right? So with this exercise, we kind of want to start bringing in that we are grateful for even the tiny little things that make our body function. Because when we learn to be grateful for our body, we learn to recognize certain pain that is happening to us and the body and understand the signals, okay? So let's go to April. Can you read us your first 10?
I didn't get to 10, but I did also. I was grateful for my kids. I put their names, Zanaya and Alana, and my health, family, having a job, and that's where I stopped.
But you added your health as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Good. I love it. And the same thing, you know, when you look at health, look at your body
as a full system, like, you know, be grateful for your senses, for your fingers, how your body moves, okay? So Sharika, you are next. What do you have on your list?
Okay, so on my list, I have my daughter, grateful for life, my family, my job, my health, being able to walk, being able to hear, positive relationships, and my home and my car. Those are the first 10 things.
Beautiful. Okay, you're all doing so well. Good. I'm so happy to hear all this. Good, very good. Crystal, share with us.
Okay. So I have my family. I'm seeing another day, having a job, food to eat, my books to read, clothes, a roof over my head, my health, heat to turn on, associates and friends.
Good. Beautiful. Judith, share with us.
First was my husband, second was my daughter, third were my twin grandchildren, fourth is my son who died in a car accident 18 years ago, my son-in-law, my sister, being at the beach, 4 cats, and my feet and my knee. I was in a really bad car wreck 6 years ago that involved a fatality. The wreck wasn't my fault, but it was a pretty serious wreck.
Okay, so let's put on top of all that, just write health. And just think about that and how we can bring gratitude to that part. Just as, you know, let's acknowledge that just to the side, everything that you're grateful for is just as important as your health. So we just want to bring the focus on that. Yeah?
Okay, I'm sorry, you dropped out for a moment. It was health is what you want me to add to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just see if that resonates with you, that you are grateful for your health.
Yes, and that would be my feet and my knees don't look great, but I still have them.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Judith.
Thank you.
Margot, did you get to do it?
I did get to do it. Thank you. So I also had, in my top 10, I had health, job, shelter, food, my son and my grandson, my dog, my faith, hope, light, music, and my books. Those are my top.
Okay, thank you. You guys are all putting health in there and body parts. I love it. Patrina, am I saying this right?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Mine is life, God, children, health, home, car, children's health, the love I received, my job, and my mind. I think I did them all.
Good, perfect. Joanna.
Sorry, I had everything muted. So I have myself, my family, my friends, my home, my car, ability to travel, freedom, good food, and our garden.
Good. So we're adding health, right?
Yes, that was number 5.
Number 5. Okay, good. Thank you. Sylvia, what we got? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I'm not seeing a microphone for Sylvia. So Sylvia, your audio may not be connected. So you might want to try connecting your audio if you're on a desktop. Kind of scroll along the bottom and you should see a little microphone that says mute. If you're on a phone,
you might want to look in the upper left or upper right-hand corner for a little icon that will allow you to turn your audio on.
Okay, maybe she just has the opportunity to listen. Well, once she gets it, maybe we have her come back later and tell us about her top 40. Yeah, top 40. Yeah. There you go. Okay, gotcha. All right. So all of you guys included health. So that's where health, pain, recognition comes from. So all of you already acknowledge how important it is to include your health. So let's move into the mindfulness and the pain. So I created a small little slideshow. So I'm making them shorter and shorter so I can talk to you guys actually more. And those slideshows will be available as well if you need them. So I found this really amazing abbreviation for like pain and what comes after, and I will share that with you. So let me go to, okay. Okay, and if I cut out, just give me a heads up so I can hear you and maybe repeat what we're going through, okay? So let's go to that next slide, and that's where you will see the abbreviation. And I thought this was a really neat way to look at pain and to bring awareness of what pain can bring to you and how you understand the pain, okay? So the P stands for putting kindness towards self and others in the mix. The A, allowing experience to be there just as is. So I'm going to go a little bit about this A because it was what it's meant with that. So when you feel pain, recognize and acknowledging is the first step to actively creating a relationship with your body's communication. So allowing yourself to experience pain and not feeling like you should not feel when something is not right with your body, okay? And then the I stands for inquiring with interest about physical sensations, emotions, or thoughts. So that is being vulnerable to those signals that your body is sending you. Interest about physical sensations, that can be the numbness of maybe a body part, the nervous system that might shoots you the sensation of pain, you know, sharp pain, chronic pain, anything that goes on, be curious about that. So when your body is sending you a signal, just don't ignore it. Show interest. Show interest in opening that communication with your body, as well as your emotions and your thoughts, okay? And how it affects your emotional state as well as your mental state. And then the N stands for not identifying with the pain and changing thought process from why is this happening to me to allowing yourself to process signals of body and mind. So if you focus so much about, you know, this pain is who I am and I will identify with this pain, your focus is taken from solutions that can be created to better deal with that pain. Okay, let's use an example. For example, my left hip from deployment has this chronic kind of pain, you know, that I identified with for a very long time. So I would be
saying, my left hip hurts. I do not want to walk up those stairs. I do not want to exercise because my left pain hurts. And that caused the emotion of fear and anger. And my mind's focus was absolutely on my left hip, where I will say that, oh, it will not get better because that's the pain I'm used to. Okay? So this is a really nice way of processing physical pain and connecting it to feelings and emotions that this physical pain brings to you, and therefore understanding how it influences your mind and brings focus on that pain. And that's how you identify yourself with. Does everybody kind of get that, or does it resonate with you? I thought it was a really nice roadmap to connect your physical pain and how it processed through your emotions and your mind. So physical pain is the actual pain that you feel directly with a sensation in your body. Sharp pain, continuous active pain, as far as soreness, signals about nerve system pain, tingling, all this stuff is something that you directly feel, and the signals that you receive in your mind. So what pain can do for you is can bring your life to a standstill. Pain can become your main focus. So I want to stop it right there and want to maybe ask you guys, you ladies, of something that has been a physical pain to you and something that is right in the forehead of your mind and that you do at times maybe identify with. If you would mind maybe sharing an example with us. And I have Margot, if you raise your hand or something, I have Margot select you since I can't see you.
Okay, April.
I suffer from fibromyalgia, and I also have a spine arthritis that attacks my spine, spondyloarthritis. So I'm in pain like almost, well, really every day. I guess trying to rest and putting like cream, rubbing different herbal creams on my back and like on my body if it starts hurting, that helps sometimes. On top of medication.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're kind of identify with that is who you are?
Yeah, because everything that I do in my life kind of revolves around my pain, because I can't push myself to go and run like 2 miles or something right then and there, because I would wake up not being able to hardly move the next morning because it will flare up my fibromyalgia.
Okay. And I know from experience as a yoga teacher and provider of body movement that I get students that, identify with fibromyalgia and that say that it's sometimes really hard to explain it to people because you can look absolutely fine. And so it's hard to explain to people the process of fibromyalgia and how it affects you, physically. And then from the physically, it moves to emotion, and from emotion to your mind. Is that correct?
It is. Sometimes if I have a bad enough flare up, you can actually see it in my muscles because they'll swell up certain muscles and you can see it. And then other times it's like with touch, it feels like somebody's just getting a kind of like a needle that you thread with and just rubbing it up and down your arm, or like a body part and just not stopping.
Okay, so let's try
Slow
today
down.
so what we're doing today, and this is really important for everyone to recognize, we are trying to add tools to our mindful box, our mindful toolbox, to find solutions on supporting on how we dealing and recognizing this pain, and how to bring our focus to solutions and the communications with our body, so that when we do feel pain, that we are not consumed with the pain as much, to recognize other things that are going on in our life. So remember, feeling the pain is not a bad thing, and we want to just become better in communicating with that pain, and therefore finding solutions that make us feel better in mind, and therefore having the emotions that do come up, like stress, depression, sadness, have tools that help us with that. Does that make sense? Okay, good. I'll just see everybody nodding their head. I'm gonna visualize that. So you can participate in activities that keep you balanced and make you feel complete. Mild or any levels of stress, depression, and sadness occur, and your energy levels and focus are low. So physical pain for some is the only awareness of pain. And what is meant with that? When physical pain occurs, that is your focus. And sometimes we do not realize how that physical pain does create depression or sadness or stress, right? And then how does this affect your emotional well-being when you feel physical pain? And how does it affect your mental well-being? Okay, so that's where we want to get to bring mindfulness to emotional and mental, and therefore build your resiliency on handling this pain, okay? So this is how emotions and your mental state of mind respond to pain. So emotional responses arise for you as a result of pain, such as anger, frustration, and anxiety. This reaction to challenging physical sensation that you don't want to have is perfectly understandable. So maybe if somebody else can tell me one situations where they feel that their chronic physical pain really results in frustration and anxiety. If somebody would like to share that with us, and I'm pretty sure somebody else can relate, trust me. Do we have anyone that would like to share with us, or should I just move on?
I had my knee. I hurt my knee on my job. It's just gotten better, and so just for about 2 months, it was just be so emotional and mental, just getting prepared for work every day. So it made the day longer because I would have to do certain things, and so that pain would be, it existed, and it was just part of my day.
Yeah, so maybe frustration, is that
Yeah, I
how?
was very frustrated because it limited what I could do at work. I had so many limitations at the time. So there were times where I needed to like even walk to the car, or I had to change how, because I travel in my job. So I had to limit how many days I went certain places, or I had to change a location where I held my classes at. I couldn't go up the stairs, so I had to find another place. I had to be on the bottom floor. So it changed my whole day for about 2 months.
Okay, and did you find anything like mindful wise or that could help you relieve it, or do you feel like you have tools in your mental toolbox that will help you with that?
I didn't find. I only thing I had to end up going to the doctor and taking some pain medicine, but it was amazing that how I couldn't even, it didn't bother me in my sleep, but just the thought of waking up and know I had to deal with the pain. So
Okay.
yeah, but no, I didn't find anything. So I'm trying to find something where my leg is healed, but some now if even little pain bothers me. I'm like, and it takes a toll on me mentally. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I talk myself out of things because of the possible pain.
And you know, this is, and it gives me a little goosebumps, not because you are dealing with this pain, but how mindfulness and the tools that we talk about today can bring this, like all of you, first of all, putting your health in your gratitude list and being aware how the pain affects you. Listen, all of you, this is already bringing awareness to that part. And you being here is already a step forward. So I'm really grateful that you guys are here and sharing your experience with us, okay? So as we said, so mental responses can be negative thoughts about your past, present, or future. These thought stories may be familiar and yet keep repeating in your head. So this painful experience and how you are not able to do certain things because you're still experiencing in your mind the pain. So it keeps you away from doing even daily activities because your memory and your muscle memory even is connected to that pain that you have felt in the past. And now the past is affecting your presence and even your future because you have this pain connected to, you know, anger and frustration. So these thought stories may be familiar and yet keep repeating in your head. And they can also subtle, they can be so embedded in your mind that it can take that toll on you. Fear, you know, anxiety, depression, stress. All right. So let's continue. So here we are on the mindful management toolbox. So we want to bring awareness to the communication and signals that your body is sending you. We want to, it motivates you to take appropriate actions before the pain gets worse. So with the mindful management toolbox, we want to find prevention. We want to find management during the pain. And then we want to create habits that will happen after and continue to allow you to focus on physical, emotional, mental well-being and build resiliency for you. Okay, so let's go. I'm gonna go out of this slideshow. And yes, I love seeing all your faces. So I'm always happy when I finish those slideshows. So let's talk about the meditative body scan. Who was really able to focus at the beginning of our session today on this body scan? Tell me a little bit about your experience on this body scan, this mindful body scan that we did. Hi, Debbie. Not all at once. Somebody talk to me.
Okay, repeat that
Okay,
again.
this is
I'm sorry.
Okay, so I wanted you guys to tell me a little bit about your experience when we did this mindful meditative body scan at the beginning of this session. Like, did anything pop up? Like when you scanned your body, you know, did you feel any sensation of, hey, my knee hurts, or, you know, I'm recognizing maybe my shoulder is not as it should be? Did anybody recognize anything like that when we did the scan? Joanne, you're shaking your head, so you will have to share with us if you wish.
I did. I've actually been doing a lot of yard work with my husband. I'm limited in what I can do compared to him, but we've been doing a lot outside, and doing the body scan, I noticed like my right shoulder is definitely sore, it's tight, it needs some stretching and attention.
And there you go. This is like the first part of this mindful body scan of you being aware that something is going on with your shoulder. So what did it tell you? It basically told you, hey, knock, knock, you need to stretch me. Can you please do so, right? So that first step, awesome. You're acknowledging that. And mindful body scans help you acknowledge what's going on with your body. Now, if you take the action, which will be the next step, right? Who is that up to?
Me.
You, right? So you have the tool now to acknowledge when your body wants to tell you, hey, I'm hurting. So what does it bring to you? You say, ooh, I need to stretch. What is a beautiful modality that we have for stretching?
Oh, I did yoga.
Yoga, okay, good. So yoga, right?
Right.
I know it seems so detailed and redundant, but this is how your thought process has to start going. Okay, so I recognize that I have to do yoga. Now I take the actions of doing yoga, and therefore what happens? Your focus goes to a solution instead of sitting in that pain. Does that make sense to everyone? And it might not, remember what I always say, it might not, is not like, woo, you healed, right? It's a process of, you have to train your body to use the thought process of recognizing the pain and finding a solution that makes you feel better and taking the focus from that pain. Yeah? So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else, when you scanned your body? And Debbie, you might have missed that when we scanned our body, but you will see it in the recording, okay? It's just, we did this a couple of times where we scan our body for meditation at the beginning. Yeah.
Sorry, I had a meeting that ran.
Yeah.
Really
Oh,
long.
it's yeah, it's absolutely fine.
But before work, I actually did yoga this morning, and we're sitting there, and I tore my hip back in August, muscle in my hip, and talking about how, like, I didn't notice it hurt, and then when we were doing yoga, I was like, oh my gosh, that really hurts. And I became really aware of the pain when I wasn't really aware of, I guess the way that we were sitting actually was messing with the hip, so.
And you moving it and implementing that yoga and the awareness, did it help you a little bit of recognizing, hey, this is it, I need to do something about it?
Yeah,
Okay,
and I know my PT, she's the one who actually started me going to yoga to help with that mobility. But not, I can actually relate to, I think it was Patrinas who talked about the anxiety. So I'm a long distance, I'm an Ironman, long distance triathlete. And I actually tore my hip, a dog. It was an accident on the bike because of a dog. And now every time I see a dog, I get really super anxious. And I love dogs. I mean, I got my ginormous one back there. He's healing from an injury right now. But every time I even see a dog, I start to get anxious because I guess the memory and the feeling and what you were talking about, how that muscle memory and how it causes anxiety and frustration. And and I'm not afraid of dogs, but I can just see a dog and I'm on my bike and I'm like, oh my God, it's a dog. And I tense up and
and then you're prone to more pain and more injury. So that's where the mindfulness comes in, of you being aware of that. So how could you change that story that connects that pain with the dog, right?
Right.
So that's what we want to look at. So how can you change that past experience? First, you recognizing that that's what's happening. So how can you retell that story?
Well, now, what I've started doing now is whenever I see a dog, I keep going, it's a happy dog. It's a happy dog. Well, look at the happy dog.
Okay.
Look at the happy dog.
Yeah, but you bring in mindfulness into that recovery. So that's a really good example for everyone, you know, recognizing that maybe there's an experience, somebody went ziplining, got hurt. So you will never want to go ziplining again. So that fear of what happened to you in the past, So now we're trying to work on this, recognize it, and change the story. And you will see as you evolve and as you learn, your story will change for everyone. You will tell the story that you had maybe when you were in the military, as you know, as a veteran. Your story will change when you feel that your story is being told the same way when it comes to pain, emotional stress, and mindful feelings, you know, depression about that story. When it doesn't change, that's when you have to recognize, I need to find a solution. And that's why we all here. So you're taking that step towards a solution for this recognized pain, okay? So, so meditative body scans, does anybody have any questions on those meditative body scans? Okay, good. So let's move on to the mindful eating habits. Okay, so let's go back to who said the stuff, because I couldn't see you, about the fibromyalgia.
It was me.
April, okay. So maybe, so let's talk about the mindful eating habits, and we've been doing this the last 2 times as well, right? So you're recognizing that you have fibromyalgia, right? So let's look at certain eating habits. Have you ever tried to maybe have a food journal and see what aggravates my fibromyalgia that I'm taking into my body, right? So fibromyalgia is a form where your body feels constantly inflamed, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Maybe part of it, yes. So I'm gonna give you an example. Dairy products. We all love dairy product. Well, I'm vegan, but you know, I used to, oh my God, cheese was my favorite, right? So what cheese would do, any dairy products, they aggravate and feed inflammation. Yeah. So, it's, you remember, I always say you are an individual, and as an individual, you have to recognize what it does to you. So I'm saying it as a whole, it is known, but you still have to check on an individual. So you maybe have a journal, and this is good for everyone. 1 week, I want to see how my nutrition influences the pain that I have, chronic pain, any illness that you're dealing with. What do dairy products do to my body? How do I feel after I eat cheese? How do I feel after I drink regular cow milk? How do I feel after what other dairy products, you know, whatever dairy products are. And then just see and write a journal. How do I feel about that? And how does it affect my pain levels in my story of or what I'm dealing with, right? And then when you see for a week how it affects you, the next week, and don't overwhelm yourself. Just use one product, right? And then the next week, maybe get out of that product. And then see, how am I doing this week without eating or feeding my body this? And then recognize it. Do not stress yourself about never ever being able to eat whatever you love to eat. Do not stress yourself, please. When you stress yourself, it causes more harm than well-being, right? But what does it bring? It brings the awareness, right? That's all I want you to focus on at the beginning. And then you might, instead of eating that cheese sandwich, you might say, well, I really love that cheese sandwich, but what do they have that kind of tastes the same, right? So you can maybe implement, if you're not good with nuts, you know, you can implement, instead of this dairy product, I'm gonna make you know, a nut cheese or something that is different than this dairy. But this was just an example, right? But fibromyalgia, dairy products do aggravate inflammation, right? So how could I eat this cheese sandwich without aggravating my fibromyalgia, right? So turmeric, remember we talked about turmeric? I think we did. Yeah, not today, but another day. Turmeric helps against inflammation. And this is where the Ayurvedic lifestyle comes to, right? So when I eat this cheese sandwich, right after, I might drink a tea, a turmeric tea. And remember, turmeric is enhanced by black pepper and activated by oil. It has to have some fatty oil with it. So you still maybe had that cheese sandwich because you wanted it, but now you know what your body needs to balance that out. Okay, so every time when you think about mindful eating habits, I want you to not stress yourself, but find solutions to anything that the eating habit causes you. What I would like to hear from someone now, tell us if you eat a certain item that doesn't make your body feel good. Give me an example. Go ahead, Debbie.
Sorry, I don't want to like.
No, go for it.
I have migraines, and it was my acupuncturist who made the connection between caffeine and how it can cause migraines, which caffeine can actually, it's a vasoconstrictor, so it can help take away a migraine, but too much caffeine in my system will actually end up causing migraines. So I made that connection a few years back. So I do everything I can. That's why I drink decaf coffee. I love coffee, but I drink decaf because I can drink decaf and it doesn't have enough caffeine in it to actually trigger my migraines. And
and it was a mindful choice right there. So that's how you start your mindful eating habits, everyone. So when you go and eat, like when you, do I have anybody that is anemic maybe? Okay, so I'll use myself as an example. So so vegans a lot of time miss out on iron and B12. And so sometimes our blood cells, our blood flow is not getting the nutrients that we need. And it causes us to be anemic. When you're anemic, you have cold fingers and cold toes. So my body is signaling to me when I get cold fingers and it's 90 degrees outside, I know that I'm missing iron and B12. So what do I do to resolve me feeling cold because I'm not eating a steak? Yeah. So I have to know that I will, make sure I get more iron and I get more B12. That is the mindful eating habits. Yeah. And if I'm ever chewed, then I will go, forgive me, Buddha, but I'm going to eat the steak because my health is more important. Yeah. So you have to figure out what works for you. And that was just an example for me. So we know that turmeric helps with inflammation. We know that too much dairy causes inflammation for certain individuals. Ask me questions about eating habits that you are curious about that you can be more mindful with.
I have a question so I stopped eating pork a long time ago. Ever since I found out that they really don't get rid of all the parasites whenever they cook the pork, and it has so many. But beef, I'm trying to let that go also, but hamburgers are like a comfort food for me. Whenever I'm like really stressed out, I need a double cheeseburger. So how is beef, how does that affect your body? Is it as bad as pork?
So it is all about the digestion. So how long does it take you as an individual to digest that beef, right? In your digestive system. So some people have a harder time digesting beef than others do. So do you feel, and there's so many different opinions, because beef also provides you with fast, like the protein, right? So our body does need protein. And for you, as you are comfortable with eating beef, you know, it gives you that protein. But how does your body digest it? So beef, for some people, is easier to digest than pork. So pork is known scientifically to be harder for a body to digest. And then beef is easier to digest, scientifically proven as well. But how do you as an individual digest it, right? And then if it's a comfort food, how can you think about how can you make that digestion easier for yourself? Or how can you, because I could say, oh, instead of doing the beef burger, try the bean burger, but then you say it doesn't taste the same, you know, but maybe give it a try. Does it give you the same feeling, you know, of digestion? But you have to find it out for you individually, because then some people, it's harder to digest beans. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you eat that beef burger, maybe be mindful about how often you eat the beef burger, you know? And then if you eat it, how does it affect your fibromyalgia, right? And maybe you can drink a ginger tea right after you eat that beef burger. So maybe you can just balance it out.
Okay. I heard that black seed oil, is that real good to take? I started taking it and then I stopped.
Okay, so black seed oil helps coat the outline of your the inlining of your digestive system, and therefore makes it gentler on your belly to digest the beef. So that is actually a good thing. And sometimes it takes time to create habits and then we fall off. So maybe knowing and being aware of that, you can continue to take something that will soothe that digestion of that beef. So beef and any meat sits in your belly longer because it takes longer to digest. So let's find a solution that helps that processing in your digestive system if you want to continue to eat that beef. So don't beat yourself up. Remember how I always say, everyone, there's a solution to everything that you want to eat, but you have to find that balance. Drink a tea, warm water, that lemon water that we talked about, that helps your morning digestion. Your digestion is stimulated by movement as well. So when you eat that beef, maybe create some movement that brings fire to your belly to digest it, to aid with that digestion. So I want us to create these habits with pleasure and not feel forced to create these habits, because then you would fall off. Because if you feel like something is forcing you to not eat beef anymore, guess what you're gonna do the first time you feel, I need comfort food? You're gonna run right back to that beef, and then you feel guilty, and then that cycle starts. So why not go and eat that burger when you really feel you need it, but then balance it out with a healthy eating habits? Write on your paper, baby steps. Baby steps, everyone, okay? Because it like, you can see like your shoulders, you're like, oh my God, okay. So I eat the burger, but then I implement something healthy that helps me digest the burger. And then maybe once a week, that's why they used to create, you remember those diets where they say once a week, do that cheat day? They were up to something that you just have to balance it out so you don't force a eating habit. Because when you force an eating habit, what happens? that's when you start having those disorders, maybe, you know. So there's a solution to each problem that you find yourself having with mindful eating habits. Baby steps. Okay? Any other questions about the mindful eating? No question is, yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
Quick question. We did, you're just telling April about like in the morning, what is it you're supposed to drink in the morning to just like start with the digestion? I never got that, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So you have warm water, and in the warm water, you have lemon. And I add a little bit of, this is me personally, I add a little bit of cayenne pepper to fire up my metabolism. Okay?
Cayenne?
Yeah, cayenne. Okay. Sorry, my accent, my language.
That's okay. I'm from Louisiana, so cayenne's good. We like some cayenne.
Cayenne pepper, yeah. So yeah, so that's what I do. Lemon, and if you have a fiery belly, that means your belly is very sensitive. Do not do cayenne pepper. Rather do like a piece of ginger, please. Yes. And every morning, like clockwork. Okay. Good.
Sorry, I got a quick question. I do lemon water, except it's cold, it's not hot. Is that just as effective as warm lemon water? No.
No. So your belly needs that warmth. Cold. Okay. So cold will set your body to overstimulate, and it makes your body respond. It's not sensitive enough for your belly. It should be something warm first. And then later, if you want a little bit of cooler water, you can do that, okay? But warm water in the morning, even when it's really hot outside, is the best.
How much?
That's up to you. I'll do like 1 cup, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you know how we think that cool water cools us down? In the long run, so at the moment, yes, but in the long run, your body will try to compensate that ice cold water with ice cubes by heating your body up. So you will drink that ice cold water while you're in the house, you step out and your body will heat up because it's thinking that you are cold. Does that make sense? Yeah, good, okay. So gratitude, practicing gratitude is a mindful, in your mindful toolbox for pain. Remember how we wrote down the gratitude today? And practicing gratitude for your body, practicing moments that you don't feel pain, be grateful for those and want those moments more and more. Practice gratitude, just like we did today. Okay? And mindful breathing. Oxygen, what does oxygen do to your body? It makes it happy. So oxygen makes your circulation of the blood, there's a better circulation in your entire body through oxygen. How do we get oxygen in our body? Breathing, people, breathing. So inhales and exhales. Your inhales bring that oxygen to come in your body. Your lungs are the ones that help the oxygen move through your blood, yeah? So you want to have a healthy, mindful breathing practice. So our lungs are only used a lot of times, it's 70% of their capacity. So your body is missing out a lot of times on like 30% of that oxygen that could flow through your body. So you want to start practicing mindful breathing. When you drive that car, when you have road rage, try to take an extra breath, okay? When you sit at the light, pay attention to your inhales and exhales. This will help you with your pain management. When you feel pain in your left shoulder, take a nice deep inhale. Take that inhale and feel like it's traveling to your shoulder. And as you exhale, try to visualize yourself releasing that pain. That's the most simple mindful breathing technique ever, okay? And then healthy sleeping habits. I think we talked about that last week thoroughly. So with sleeping, healthy sleeping habits, what do you remember from last week about those sleeping habits? When does your body restore? While you sleep, right? Okay. So your sleep is necessary for your muscle tension to be released. Therefore, sleeping habits is a big one in your toolbox. And we did that last week leading up to this pain management this week, yeah? Okay. All right. So we have meditation, mindfulness for pain, mindful eating habits, implement gratitude, mindful breathing, and healthy sleeping habits. Let me tell you something about the mindful eating that's, and you might laugh at yourself, but anywhere between today and next week, I want you to eat something. And while you eat it, I want you to not pay attention, do not have your phone, do not have music playing, eat by yourself. And as you eat your food, I want you to close your eyes and really taste the food and bring awareness and like take your time and see how you experience, and you feel so silly and you will laugh at yourself and what am I tasting here? Why am I focused on my food? But try to do it from today till next week when we have our last session together for this month. I want you to do mindful eating, and you'll tell us next week, what did I eat? How did it taste? And how did it change my eating process? Just one time. If you eat a chocolate bar, if you eat the burger, I want you to sit and really just chew and feel and taste, yeah? That will be your homework for this time. All right. Do we have any questions for today? The floor is open to you, my ladies.
Hi, one of the things that that causes inflammation for me is sugar.
Yeah.
Really refined sugar, anything that, you know, is processed or is in a refined state. It doesn't happen so often if I'm in like natural fruits and things. And I'm not really looking for a way to counterbalance that because I don't want to get into the habit of ingesting a lot of sugar, but I do find myself, you know, eating more refined sugar than I should that day. What would be a good kind of balance for my body to get that inflammation to kind of calm down?
Okay, so for your, so you still continue to take sugar in, or?
Not all the time, but every once in a while, yeah, I'm going to take some refined sugar in.
Yeah, so recognizing that sugar does this to you, to counterbalance sugar, it's really just the same, like drink some warm water, prepare your digestive system to it. There's refined sugar and processed sugar. There's really, the best solution is not eating it. So for that, yeah, and just all like the warm water, digestive system, ginger, rather a fresh fruit instead of that sugar, you know. So that will be kind of your balancing, that prepare your digestive system, that sugar is coming, and then minimize that sugar intake, you know. Refined sugar, your inflammation, yeah. So the turmeric after, the ginger tea with turmeric. And then if you have the turmeric, remember the pepper and the oil. Yeah.
I've been using your immunity boost mix that you taught us in that first lesson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's tasty and I haven't gotten sick yet, so knock on wood, it works, but it does have the turmeric, the pepper, the MCT oil in it, which is awesome, and the oranges and apples, of course. One of the things that I learned with mindful eating, particularly if you know you're going to go after something that's not probably the best for you, is to ask yourself, is it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
And do I want it? You know, really ask yourself. And if you do, if the answer is, yep, I want it, it's worth it to me, then go and enjoy it. But that's it. Then you go back to that healthy eating again, that healthy routine again, you know. And that, I think, helps a lot in not feeling like I'm never ever going to eat candy again. I'm not a candy holic, but there are moments where I'm going to go for that piece of candy. I have celiac through. So I have a lot of things that are off limits to me in my diet. And so, you know, if I can find something that isn't gluten-based or wheat-based, sometimes I'm going to go for it. And it, unfortunately, usually has a lot of sugar in it, you know.
And that's where you recognizing that, Margot, you know, that's like the first thing. And then knowing those herbs or something that counterbalances it, that is good. Baby steps, that's like the biggest thing, you know. If you cut it off and say, I will never eat that again, you're creating that guilty feeling of when you're eating it again, and then you have pain, and then you say, it's my fault that I have pain. And that cycle starts. So yeah, very good input, yeah. Anything else? I'm sorry, I probably cut you off a little. I'm sorry. I just get so excited about this.
And Margot, I empathize with you. I have food allergies, so I'm allergic. I'm allergic to wheat and gluten. Yes. Not celiac, thank goodness, right? I'm so sorry you have celiac. But like, yeah, you see a cupcake and it's gluten-free, and you're like, I'm gonna eat it. Like, exactly. Because it's gluten-free and it's there, and you get so excited. Like, oh my gosh, and then you end up going like overboard because you never have cupcakes.
Exactly. Yeah. That is, after being diagnosed with celiac sprue, I didn't have a baked good for 7 years. So as the industry started to move toward offering you more legitimate gluten-free items, the ones that were manufactured in a facility with wheat in it, but the legitimate ones, like JP's, you know, pastries or Goodman's or, you know, those guys. Yeah, that's when I went a little overboard because I hadn't had anything baked for 7 years, and I could. Of course, then that triggered that whole cycle of inflammation and, you know, negative self-talk and how stupid can you be to do this to your body again, and the recovery process of, you know.
Makes you feel any better. I actually went into JP's bakery in Benson. Like, we drove by and I was like, that's it, we gotta stop. I came away, I don't know how much money I spent, with like an entire bag full of like all these different pastries just because they were gluten-free.
Right.
Yeah.
To finally
in the candy store.
that kind of stuff and dole it out as a treat, you know, every so often. And again, when I'm in that mindset where I can answer the question, do I want it, and is it worth it? If I know what the trigger, you know, if I can answer yes to both of those questions, I'll usually have it, but then that's it, and I'm done and I move on. So
yeah, and you know, there's the whole mindset too. When you hear gluten-free, when you hear vegan, when you hear anything vegetarian, you think like, that's healthy, I'm gonna eat that. Let me tell you, like, there's some a lot of the, say for instance, the vegan supplements for meat, pure processed, like so processed that at the end it's even worse for you than eating that meat, you know. So the solution to all, baby steps, balance it out with something that's really good for you, and then applaud yourself when you eat just a little bit of that and say, yay, but I had the ginger tea and I had the turmeric after, so for today I'm good to go. Yeah. So, well, thank you for everyone for sharing all this awesome self-experience and input. I love this subject because I always go through the process when I go through my own pain, you know, recognizing it. And Margot, do you have anything to close this out for us?
No, thank you all for, being such a great group and coming in. Next week is our last one. It's going to be mindfulness and holistic movement, the last one for this month. These are actually available on YouTube through our network, the Cohen Veterans Network's playlist. And so I did put the link to that in the chat box. And so sessions 1 and 2 are up there already, but they're also mixed in with all of the clinics, virtual workshops nationwide. So just kind of look for Hayat and you'll be able to pick those up. And Patrina, that very first one is the recipe that she gave us for that immunity boost. But Hayat, if you don't mind just quickly, giving us that recipe again.
Okay, sure. So you take 2 oranges and you peel them. You take 2 apples. You take turmeric. You take ginger. And it's all fresh, the root, okay? For the turmeric to be enhanced, you put black pepper. And for the turmeric to be activated, put a spoon of any type of oil that you like. I use MCT oil, which is a clear coconut oil, clarified coconut oil. And I think I mentioned all of it. 2 apples, 2 oranges, ginger, turmeric, pepper, oil. Yes, and you have 2 options. If you want the fiber, if you need the fiber, you put it in a mixer. If you're okay with not having the mixer, you put it, the fibers, the intense fibers, you put it into a juicer. Because some people don't like that pulp, and then you can still do it with the juicer, yeah? And the pepper is just organic pepper sprinkles in there. You don't have to run the pepper through the juicer or anything, okay? Oh, the honey, I forgot the honey. If you're not vegan, you can add a spoon of local honey to it, okay? The honey and the turmeric combined are antibacterial, all right? So they're almost like an antibiotic. When you look for honey, everyone, local honey helps you work on your allergies as well. If you have seasonal allergies and you add that spoon of local honey, your body gets used to the pollens that are in your local area. But it only works with local honey. Because that bees, the local bees go to the local flowers, and then they come into that beehive. Yeah.
And
thank you.
I noticed that if you put all of that in the blender versus the juicer, it's very, very thick. So I ended up either thinning it down with coconut water or filtered water or bottled water to kind of get it more, drinkable, because it was really thick. It was like, eat it with a spoon. When I did it in the blender.
Yeah, and you can add alkaline water too. I like to put a little alkaline water if it's too thick. And listen, that juice, of course, with every hour, it loses a little bit more of its intensity, but it will be able to be in the refrigerator for 72 hours. Just recognize that with every hour, it loses a little bit of its concentrate.
You can make it the night before then.
Yeah, you could
make
it the night before, put it in the refrigerator, keep it in the refrigerator, but then take it out and, drink it. I believe in room temperature, so I try to make mine fresh. But remember, before you drink that juice, then warm water to prepare your belly, okay? Great. Good. So we're at an hour and a half. Wow. Thank you everyone for being here. Margot, I let you close it off.
Thank you all so much. We look forward to seeing you next week. And if you have any ideas for where you want to go forward, think about them this week. We can talk about them at the end of next week. Maybe some other courses that you would like Hyatt to cover, some other topics. So just let us know, and we'll continue on. You know, this by far has been our most successful virtual workshop, and hopefully it's been beneficial to all of you as well. We really appreciate it.
Good.
We'll
Thank
see
you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Margot,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Judy. Can you help me figure out